Yo, what's up, you guys? So recently I made Instagram stories sharing about why sleep is important and why people need to get more sleep. And to my surprise, there were so many people who were either having some sort of trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or just getting enough hours of rest. And truthfully, what I've experienced over the last few years is a lot of people, one, their energy level, but two, their actual physical results are suffering because they haven't found a way to get enough sleep. Now, typically for me, I work with a lot of people. I work with people who are lifestyle clients and bodybuilders. And what I've explained to them is very, very simple. You can help yourself a lot with sleep. So there are a few questions that I ask them. We check in every Saturday, and a part of the question is I ask them how their digestive system is and how much sleep that they have been getting. Because I know if somebody's weight goes up, the first thing I need to know is, well, what was your eating like the day before, and what was your sleep like? Are you stressed right now? So these are things that play a huge role into how you feel day to day, but also your results, especially if you're someone who's actively trying to live a healthier lifestyle and have more energy throughout the day. A lack of sleep is probably one of the reasons that you're being held back. Now, I will say this: all things work together. It's like a ladder. It's like a rung on a ladder. You're trying to get to a goal. You lay a ladder down. Yes, exercise is one huge rung of that ladder. Another huge rung of that ladder is your diet and nutrition. But another huge rung of that ladder, which people neglect more than any of them, is rest and recovery. Now, this video is not going to be about the kinds of recovery because there's things like massage therapy and chiropractic work that I'll talk about later on. But specifically, this video is how you can help yourself by getting sleep. Now, why is sleep so important? Obviously, we know it helps you rest. That's the obvious. But the second thing that people don't understand is where when you are at a state of rest and your body shuts down, that's when your body goes into a recovery mode. So if you're someone who's been training, or you're somebody who's dieting, or you're somebody who just has a strenuous life and you're actually looking to be recharged and refreshed for the next day, your body, once it shuts down and goes to sleep, it goes into a recovery mode. That's why sometimes when you wake up, most times when you wake up, if you're doing things the right way, you're going to weigh less because your body will finish the digestion process. You have stored all of the energy that was not used in that day, and it will go through that entire process of getting you ready, and you're in a fasted state while you're asleep. Right now, muscle recovery happens based on your diet and nutrition. It happens when you're asleep. So if you're woken up the next day and you're really, really sore, you probably can look at how much rest did you get and are you fully recovered. Yes, it takes a couple of days, but it's a couple of days of good, proper rest recovery, and also coupled with your diet. So getting sleep is important to make sure that you're resetting and you're recovering from whatever you did the day before. Now, if you're somebody who says you only get 4 hours of sleep or you only get 5 hours of sleep, that's not enough. Typically, what I want my people doing is getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Now, I know that's tough based on things have going on in your life. Sometimes you have a newborn, sometimes you have a very, very demanding job. But I will say this: the more likely than not, and I don't ever want to be absolute, but it does not matter what your situation is. Not getting sleep won't help you. No matter how valid your excuse is for not being able to get in bed, not going to sleep does not help you. Even if you're somebody who's like, well, I'm not tired. Well, guess what? You're probably really sore and you're never recovering. You're probably always sore. Why are you always sore? Because you don't allow your body to rest and recover. Now, I've met people who've changed their sleep pattern and inflammation has gone down, bloat has gone down. So here's a couple of signs to look out for if you're not getting enough sleep. If you wake up in the morning and you're very sore, or if you wake up in the morning and you're bloated. Those are one of the signs that you either ate too close to bed, which we'll talk about in a second. I mean, you didn't let your food digest, or you didn't get enough sleep. And good quality sleep goes a very, very long way in actual muscle growth. So you want to allow yourself to, eat well, work out well, and then recover well. All three of those things matter. Now, here's a couple of reasons why people won't get any sleep, or your sleep is suffering, because I did have people say it's hard for them to fall asleep. They can't go to sleep until 11 or 12 o'clock till they're tired, even if they don't have the phone in their face. Now, a couple of lifestyle things that come into play when we're talking about getting proper sleep is screen time. What you're watching? Are you up watching TV? Are you up on your phone until 11 o'clock at night? That's usually the biggest thing, because your brain is way too active and it has not settled down yet. So if you're always overstimulating yourself at night with TV screens, which is why some people don't even have TVs in their room if that's the thing that bothers you. But also limiting your screen time. But I'll talk to y'all about that in a second. I'll give you guys a method that will help you, have something tangible to actually try to achieve in order to cut down the screen time. But also your environment. What is the environment that you're in while you sleep? Is it noisy? Is it dark in the room? Usually, your body starts to shut down when the darker that a room is, the better sleep that you can get, because you won't be disturbed. Also, the environment that comes into play is, what do you have in your room? Do you have, lots of cell phone or lots of energy inside of the room? Like, taking care of your energy before you sleep, sleeping with your phone underneath your head, sleeping with your Apple Watch on without your notifications being on Do Not Disturb. Like, all of those things come into play with not allowing you to get proper rest. Now, here's another thing in your diet. Now, your diet plays a big role in the kind of rest that you're getting as well, because one of the things that I see, and I'll just touch on one so I won't be here forever, but one of the things that I see now more so than ever is the consumption of caffeine way too late in the day. Now, one thing that I learned is having caffeine at latest around 1 o'clock is probably going to be the latest that you should be having caffeine. Typically in adults, caffeine stays in your body and is not used up or stored up for 5 to 6 hours. So if I have a cup of coffee or an energy drink at 4 o'clock, well, I'm probably not going to have that caffeine out of my body until 10 o'clock. So I can't even wind down. And if I'm not able to wind down at 10, 11 o'clock at night, that's a huge reason why I'm not able to fall asleep. And especially the dosage of caffeine that you're having. So you want to limit your caffeine consumption to in the morning and at latest in the afternoon. In order for you to be winding down about 8 o'clock, you want that around 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. You want your body to be rid of all the excess caffeine to where you can actually start to wind down and you don't feel like over energized, which is what a lot of people do in this. And it hurts you if you're actually tired, but you can't go to sleep because you've had too much caffeine. So know that it takes, again, 5 to 6 hours for caffeine to get out of your body. So monitor the amount of caffeine that you're having throughout the day as well. And the kinds of caffeine that you're allowing yourself to consume. Now, here's a method that I think if you apply, yeah, I know if you apply, and this is something that I give specifically to my bodybuilders. And for whatever reason, it's like pulling teeth to get people to understand how important sleep actually is and to prioritize it. But the 3-2-1 method is a method that I have been implementing, and I implore people to implement at least 5-6 times a week. Specifically during the week for sure. On the weekends, we know things are a little bit different, but 3-2-1 method is as follow. You want to eat up until 3 hours before you go to bed. Reason being is you want the food to have digested before you go to sleep. A lot of people's sleep is bothered because they eat too close to bed and your body is still trying to digest food while you're trying to go to sleep. Those things can bother you. Also, that leads to bloat, because once you go to sleep, your body starts a whole new process, and if it hasn't finished digesting the food for the day, guess what? It gets stored as energy that you wanted to get stored as. We talked about storing fat in an earlier video. But you store that as fat, you wake up in the morning, the food isn't digested, it's sitting on your stomach, you feel lethargic, and you actually have to be active in the morning to, kind of give yourself a reset. But being bloated in the morning, it highly is attributed to eating way too close to bedtime. And, I like to say 2 hours. But it depends on what you have. If you have something like a shake 2 hours before bed, it's fine. But if you're having a meal, specifically a meal that takes a while to get broken down, like things that are heavy, like pastas and beefs and things like that, 3 hours before you go to bed is sufficient enough for you to go through that. Now, the two and the 3-2-1 is not drinking any liquids 2 hours before you go to bed. Up into 2 hours. Reason being is, again, your body is still going through an elimination process once you're consuming things and you're digesting things. So, if you're waking up in the middle of the night to pee, your sleep is disturbed because your body is going through an elimination process. But if you get all of that out of your system and you don't drink anything 2 hours before you go to bed, and you don't have to worry about getting up in the middle of the night to pee. Now, I know that's hard for my bodybuilders who are getting close to a show and you got to drink 2 gallons of water. Like, it's rough for you, but getting your water consumed on the front half of the day and during your workout is probably where I would suggest consuming majority of your water for the day, and really start to taper back a couple of hours before you go to bed, so that you're not waking up in the middle of the night and being disturbed out of your sleep to go to the bathroom. I know people think it's normal, but waking up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning because you have to pee is not normal, and it's not helping your sleep pattern. And then the one is screen time. So putting your phone away and turning off screens. Maybe read a book. Maybe, I don't know, do some sort of stretching or light exercise 30 minutes to an hour before you go to sleep. What you want to do is calm your brain. Now, most people are not at ease when they go to sleep, and it's a plethora of things. And it really depends on what you saw before you went to sleep, too. And that's a whole nother conversation. But sometimes you see things that disturb you. Sometimes you see things that get you wondering. Sometimes you'll see someone, and someone will have your mind racing, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Having those things on your mind as you go to sleep can contribute to stress, which will have your cortisol levels high, which will have you retaining a lot of water and making it difficult for you to stay asleep. So these are all things that you can do in the 3-2-1 method that will start to help you fall asleep. And I'll tell you right now, people are going to think that it's very difficult to do those type of things, but it's a lack of discipline, which has a lot of us walking around here on zombie mode or not being able to get quality rest. You're going to the gym, you're killing yourself, you're meal prepping, but you're just not resting and recovering. I'm telling you, I've put many of people on stage. I've had people drop 4, 5, 6, 7 pounds in a week, all because we increased their water at a certain time of the day. We had them stop eating a couple of hours before bedtime, and I mandatorily had them do 8 hours of sleep. They wake up in the morning every single day, 1 to 2 pounds lighter each and every day, and they're waking up in the morning about 4 or 5 pounds lighter than they actually went to bed at, because their body is going through, has completed its digestive system, its digestive process. It has completed its elimination process, and now their body does not have to worry about going through the digestive properties. It can focus on recovering, muscle growth, recovering. Your body will be depleted when you wake up in the morning, and that's exactly where you want to be for a good recovery state, so that you can start with eating properly that day, so that the process can continue. So and also, if you're somebody who has trouble winding down still, there are, and I wish I would have brought them in here, there's a couple of products that I take from Herbalife. One is Relax Now. And what Relax Now, it has it has jujube in it, and a couple of different items that will actually help you wind down. It almost, to me, it feels like it has everything in it but THC, that marijuana has to give you that calmness. It has a lot of those things in it, but void of the THC and different things like that. That take it to a different level. But having something to relax you, and then there's another product called Sleep Now, which actually helps you stay in the deep sleep and that being that REM sleep that you need, that optimizes recovery. I also have a Whoop that I've been wearing for shoot, it's been close to about 8 or 9 months that I've been wearing my Whoop. I have an Apple Watch too, but I feel like my Whoop, getting my sleep score and actually showing me the quality of sleep at a higher level. I've enjoyed wearing that so I can monitor my recovery, because I realized if I have poor recovery, I'm going to have poor performance the next day. And for me, I want to optimize, my energy levels and my performance every single day. So look, I'm telling people, I'm in the bed by 8 o'clock every night, and I'm ready to go to sleep. 9:30, I'm out of there, and I'm up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. A lot of days, on the weekends, 6, 7 o'clock, I can make up those hours of sleep. But my progress over the last year has been phenomenal. Like I don't ever feel bloated. I always feel like I'm waking up, rested, and recovered. Even if I'm tired first thing in the morning, after an hour after I get moving, like I'm good to go for a majority of the day, so that my output can be at an all-time high. So and lastly, somebody did ask about things like melatonin. I would say take those at your own risk. For me, what I've personally experienced with melatonin is nothing crazy, but I've had way more people than not tell me that they have been experiencing nightmares and lucid dreams and having, weird things happen to them while they're sleeping. So, take that with a lot of, caution. And I have a lot of my people who don't do that. There's ashwagandha is another product that is in Relax Now, ashwagandha and things like that. Even if you want to just take ashwagandha by itself, and jujube, like these things will help relax you naturally, and will reduce your cortisol level, so that it kind of relieves stress and different things like that, right? So that's one piece, and then actually getting able to be in that deep sleep is something that's important. That's why I take my sleep now as well. Whenever I find myself having issues, or if I find myself like just being up late working, I will take sleep now. So when I actually do go to sleep, I have a more refreshed feeling. 4 hours feels like 8 hours when I take that product. And some people kind of feel like they're sluggish in the morning. After a long night of sleep. I'm trying to tell you, you're just probably not used to your body being recovered, and all of that caffeine and all of those things being out of your system. Just start your day properly with a great breakfast. If you wake up in the morning and you still feel a little groggy and fatigued, just start your day off, and because your body is probably ready for a consistent process of proper sleep. So start your day off nutrition wise on point. Make sure you follow the system 3-2-1, and you'll find yourself having even maximizing your gains, whether you're trying to get build some muscle, or you're trying to just recover, or just trying to have more solid usable energy throughout the day. Again, if you guys ever need anybody to help you, I'm your guy. Peace.